Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hi there.
Today, we're taking a look at the cruise industry. We've got some sources discussing the big problems and maybe some ways to fix them.
That's right. We've gone through materials looking at, the ethical side of things, the challenges, and what people are proposing as solutions.
So the goal for you listening is to get a handle on what's really wrong and what a proper fix might look like.
Exactly. A comprehensive one.
Okay, let's dive in then. What are the main problems our sources are pointing out?
Well, there are quite a few, and they're kind of linked. First up is how workers are treated.
Okay.
Many come from poorer countries, and they're often facing really long hours, low pay, basically overwork and underpay. What else? Then there's the environment. Big issue. These ships cause significant ocean pollution.
Right, you hear about that.
And taxes, or rather, avoiding them. Some big companies like Carnival apparently pay less than 1% in taxes.
Less than 1%. Wow.
Yeah. And on top of that, you've got concerns about passenger safety and health.
And getting help if something goes wrong.
That's the other thing. It's tough for passengers to seek legal action. Often they have to go all the way to Florida, which isn't easy for everyone.
Okay, so that's a pretty serious list. Why do these problems keep happening? What's the root cause here, according to the sources?
A lot of it seems to stem from where these companies are based. Or rather, not based.
Meaning not in the U.S.
Exactly. By basing themselves technically outside the U.S., they get some major advantages. Lower taxes, for one.
Makes sense.
They can also avoid stricter American labor laws. So lower wages, different working condition rules, and fewer safety and environmental regulations, too. That often comes with registering ships under what they call flags of convenience, basically. Another country's flag with looser rules.
So it makes it harder for passengers to sue as well.
Yes, that structure complicates the legal side for passengers significantly.
And here's something really striking from the sources. Carnival pulls in something like $3 million in profit every single day.
That's a staggering figure.
And our sources basically connect that profit directly to these practices, right? The lower wages, the weaker regulations.
That's a connection they draw, yes. These operational choices fuel that profitability.
So it's a whole system. What about solutions? Do the sources offer ways out of this?
They do discuss a few approaches. One idea is just regulating ships when they're in U.S. ports.
Okay.
Another puts the focus on us, the consumers, making ethical choices, being aware.
What? I sense a but coming.
Well, yeah. The sources seem to suggest that the most effective path, the one that really tackles the core issues, is changing the laws. Comprehensive government action.
Right. That's labeled as solution 3 in the materials.
Precisely. Solution 3.
So why is that one seen as the heavy hitter?
Because it goes after the fundamental problems head on. It talks about making cruise lines pay fair taxes.
Okay, that's big.
Improving worker conditions, better pay, better treatment, much stronger environmental protection rules, and boosting the rules around passenger safety and health, too. It's presented as, a complete overhaul.
A long-term fix may be rolled out gradually.
Exactly. It's framed as the most complete and, frankly, the most responsible way forward.
So it's not just patching holes, it's rebuilding the foundation. Why wouldn't the other solutions work as well?
Good question. Solution 1, the U.S. ports one. The problem is companies could just shift itineraries, maybe avoid those ports if the rules get too tough.
They could just sail elsewhere.
Potentially, yeah. And solution 2, relying on consumers. It's good in theory, but, marketing can be confusing or even misleading.
And people might not always put those ethical concerns first when booking a vacation.
Right. It's hard to rely solely on individual choices to change a whole industry structure.
So wrapping this up, what's the big picture for you, the listener?
Well, I think what this deep dive really shows is this kind of tension, isn't it? Between the glamour of cruising, the appeal of it.
The luxury travel image.
And these pretty serious underlying issues. Workers' rights, the environment, taxes, safety.
And these aren't just random problems. They seem tied to the business model itself.
That's what the sources suggest. Particularly the financial benefits these companies get from operating outside the U.S. It shapes a lot of their practices.
So the main takeaway seems to be that Solution 3, that comprehensive legal approach, is highlighted as the most solid bet for making the industry more responsible over time.
It seems to be presented that way, yes, as the most thorough fix.
Which leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it?
Definitely. It makes you consider the wider impact of where companies decide to set up shop. how that affects workers, the planet, us as
Well,
consumers.
and maybe what responsibility we have just as individuals to be aware of all that when we make choices.
Exactly. It's certainly food for thought.